Hello Millwall fans, Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Hello, good afternoon, Millwall fans, and welcome back to another month in review with yours truly and my esteemed co-host, Jonesy. How are you doing, mate?
Very well, very well. As I say, as we've said this in the last couple, we've chosen the correct time in our Millwall supporting careers to be doing months in review because they've all been pretty good, haven't they?
They have, mate. They have. I think we said it on the last one and the one before that and the month before that. But at the moment, these are nice reviews to be doing. It's always a pleasure to be spending some time with you, mate. But even more so when we're talking about Millwall in flying form. So before we get into the actual episode, we're going to do all the usual stuff. If you are new round here, please do subscribe to the channel. Excuse me, my croaky throat. Everything we do around here goes towards cancer research. I'm probably sure you are aware of that by now, but if you're not, we do everything for cancer research. So your likes, your subscriptions, your comments, everything goes towards a good cause to get the name of the channel out and about. Also, just want to give a shout out to the show sponsors, Spectrum VR. He said Spectrum Enterprise. Then that is my old company I used to work for, so definitely not them. So yeah. That is all the usual stuff out of the way. Jonesy, we're of course going to be looking back at February. Another good month, mate. Another good month. So, shall we go straight into it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
First game of the month saw us play against Wrexham. Last time we played Wrexham, mate, was the infamous complete and utter head loss again by yours truly. But this time, mate, a much better result and no head loss from me this time because we took the 3 points off Disney FC, which was very, very satisfying. A 2-0 win on the road, mate. Good result. And an important time playing against Wrexham because they've just started to hit some form.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all felt that the home Wrexham fixture probably was a little bit of an anomaly. I don't think anyone expected it really to happen. This time, you kind of felt it was a much more important game. It was a much more tricky looking fixture. Obviously, as you said, Wrexham were sort of flying at the time. Clearly, the darlings of Sky. You know, everybody wants them to be in the top 6. I think. Millwall just quietly going about their business, rolled into Wrexham, and I don't want to say we were lucky. I really don't want to say we were lucky because Crocombe made a couple of saves in the game, but we took our chances when they come along and we kept them relatively at bay for most of the game and, done the number on them. I think their fans as well, it fully expected us to rock up and they were going to beat us. There was none of this, or I don't know, they weren't even thinking about Millwall. So it was quite nice to go there and be fairly comfortable in the end with a 2-0.
Yeah, fairly comfortable. I would say a proper championship away performance, and we've said that quite a few times in these reviews. But yeah, just a proper away performance. They didn't really have. I can't think of any too many clear-cut chances that they had. They were all sort of. I wouldn't even say half chances that they created. We always looked fairly comfortable. Obviously, they scored a very, very good own goal, which was very nice of them. It was a great ball in the box by Femi. Was it Femi or was it Negley?
It was Femi. Yeah, it was Femi, yeah.
I had visions then of it being cut back. Did he cut back on his left foot? That's why I thought it was Camille. But I don't think he did that. I'm just talking crap.
I thought because Ivanovic probably should have got there, right?
Yeah,
Ivanovic should have got his head on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, very good own goal by the Wrexham centre half, Max Cleworth, I think it was, who stuck it in the back of the net. And then a very, very, very good Josh Coburn goal, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we sort of, a lot of people kind of said in the build up to the goal and afterwards that the Aziz pass was more luck than judgment. Everyone kind of said, "Oh, they were going for he was going for Casper de Nor's run," but I don't think he was. I don't think. I think he was trying to play a ball into an area. Obviously, it fell quite nicely for Josh. I think he'd obviously scored. I believe against Burnley, didn't he? And Watford. Then had a couple of games sort of not getting on the score sheet, so it was good for him. Sent the away fans absolutely, into wild scenes in that away end. And again, it was just one of those, wasn't it? And I think the other thing that you touched on there about a proper championship away performance, I think two central midfielders, two centre halves, tough tackling one, everything pretty much in the air. Obviously dealing with Kiefer Moore is no mean feat. It was a proper roll your sleeves up and get the job done in the end. And I think Alex Neil actually, whilst he obviously wants to play nice football and score a few goals, I think sometimes he gets a little bit of satisfaction out of those type performances. He loves seeing a clean sheet and his players kind of give everything for the shirt.
Do you know what I was thinking about this? And I know we're going to talk about Preston in a minute, but I was thinking about it and talking about it after the Preston performance on Saturday. And do you know what? I think it's almost perfect in terms of the expectations from the fans, like most clubs, but I'd say even more so with us, is we expect 110%. Everyone's put a shift in, tackles to be made, headers to be won, the dirty side of the game to be sort of front and foremost of everything that we do. Work hard, all the usual stuff. But some of the football we now play, the quality that we have got in the side is it's like some football that I've never seen before. And again, we won't touch on the Preston game too much, but the Coburn goal, a prime example of that, mate. A very, very good footballing goal. We've done all of the hard bits in that game. We've battled to get to that position. And then when the chance arises, we've got our fullback, Tristan Crammer, flying down the wing, rolls it into Femi. Femi rolls it into whether it was meant for Casper or Coburn. Coburn smashes it in the top corner, and it's just a very, very good goal. And as I say, it's a very good time to be a Millwall fan. But in terms of the football that we are playing, we are doing everything.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with that is it's not so much every so often that there's nice football. We have moves now pretty much in every game that you go, hold on a minute.
What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that again, Birmingham was a prime example. I guess it's a little bit easier when you're 3-0 up at home to play nicer football. But there's more and more of it. It's not just the flash in the pan, the odd good goal here and there. If you look at a lot of our goals, they are well worked. Okay, people will say, Aziz it plays a lot of, a big starring role in most of them, but the midfielders, Crammer, even the other side, you've got the likes of Sturge or Doherty, they do all get involved. So good goal. I think we didn't even mention the pass for the first goal from De Noor over the top, the first time ball for Aziz to run onto. It's not always about the little intricate passes. They are able to be a little bit more direct, but with a purpose, not just lumping it into space. De Noor knows where Aziz is going to be. Aziz gets sort of on his bike and you're away. So very good football. Two good goals, obviously in their own way. An own goal always gets a little bit of the limelight taken off of it because it's an own goal. But build up.
A great ball. It was almost one of those ones where it's such a good ball that it warranted the own goal. It's quite undefendable because if he doesn't do that, where he flies across the face of the goal, who knows? It was just such a good ball from Femi. We're going to get bored of saying that, to be perfectly honest, because the quality that man puts in the box is ridiculous. But as I said, I think the perfect away performance.
Mm-hmm.
We then roll into Sheffield Wednesday, and for large parts of that game, mate, we were shit. I'm just going to say it. We were shit. I think I said to my dad going into the game, and Sheffield Wednesday is a fixture that I always look forward to. I like going to Hillsborough. I like Sheffield Wednesday as a club. Their fans are fairly similar to us. They're passionate. They have big numbers. Maybe that part isn't too similar to us, but they're a huge club, right? And it's always a little bit niggly. It's a bit of an atmosphere. It's a good game. It's just something I always look forward to. And the minute I got to Sheffield, it was just a bit flat. And that was how the performance was for a long time, mate. What was your overall thoughts on that game?
Well, to begin with, you were almost banned from ever going to another Millwall game ever again, because that was the game that you'd went to. You hadn't seen us score, you hadn't seen us win, and you'd done nothing. They go 1-0 up, and it was.
I didn't want to mention that.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. And then we just hook or by crook. It springs to mind with the performance. I think Sheffield Wednesday are probably going to get beat in the majority, if not every game, from now until the end of the season, and no one really wants to be that team that doesn't beat them, because it is seen as an opportunity lost, especially and obviously with
when
us.
Jamal Lowe went 1-0 up, mate, I definitely thought, here we go, typical Millwall.
Yeah, absolutely. And they hadn't scored since Boxing Day. Millwall roll into town and start giving goals away and this, that, and the other, and you just thought, not this time, especially as it was FA Cup weekend, I believe, that weekend as well. And Millwall were the only team in the top 6 playing. It was a real chance. We all know what we do when these opportunities come along. And say at 1-0, we sort of looked a little bit down and out. But
it had to be Jamal Lowe as well, didn't it, mate? Like, again, we were talking like in the build-up, and his name got mentioned so many times. Like, he's just that, I'm saying enigma, because it's not like he scores. He's just hated by most of us because of all the transfer shenanigans over the years, but it had to be him, didn't it?
Yeah, and he also seems to play well against us. Like, he's always been decent. He's never going to be a world beater, but he always seems to play well against us. And obviously Max Crocombe in goal, probably won't want to see it back too much, that it wasn't particularly great from him. But the boys, they showed a little bit of character. Alex Neil finally having options off the bench. Obviously, we were talking about this the other day, that Millwall have, and in world football, there's a lot of teams that you hear all the time at the moment, especially a team like Tottenham, for example. They've got too many injuries. They've got loads of injuries, and they have. But we had loads of injuries for our level, and we still managed to maintain a top 6 place. And now we're reaping the benefits of those players coming back and bringing a couple of faces in January. Tommy Watson with I know they don't officially get an assist for an own goal, but got the ball out of his feet, good ball across the box, causing trouble. Defender like Wrexham couldn't really leave it because he didn't know where the ball was going to end up. Obviously, on replay, it probably would have gone wide, but he wasn't to know. And then the nice guy that we refer to, the guy who,
not me, mate. I'm a big fan of this man. So
okay, the majority of this channel, Chris, you're in the same boat as Chris, of course. He just finds a way of keep drawing you back in. His energy and effort, you can't fault that. You really, really can't fault it. But he found the goal. He found the goal to win the game when it looked at one stage he wasn't going to. Another, like we keep saying, getting a little bit bored of it now. Great cross from Femi, puts it into a good area. Sadly, I think we're gonna have to make the most of it, because
we won't talk about that, mate. Don't worry. We'll do that in the end of season review. Don't worry about that now.
But at Langstaff, and I still don't know how he scored. You watch it back, and his feet go in all the wrong position, but he somehow
feet going in every direction,
puts the ball into the back of the net. And I was pleased for Macaulay Langstaff. Like, as I say, I've given him a little bit of a hard time. I'd never knock his effort. Would never ever knock his effort. But he falls into the long list of strikers, and I won't keep mentioning the same names, that were grafters, that worked incredibly hard for the team. But you almost
talk dirty to me.
Yeah. Lee Gregory.
That's fine.
And Tom Bradshaw, of course. But yeah, he found a goal when we needed it the most. We needed it against Norwich. We needed it against, I believe, Bristol City, I think was his other winner. And, at the end of the season, he'll look back and go, well, my goals have earned us, at the moment, he's turned 3 draws into 3 wins. So
there
was
the stat going around on Twitter, Jones, wasn't there, about the 3 goals that he has scored, and he has turned 3 games into 9 points for us.
Yeah, and you can't argue with that. I mean, of course, he's a striker. He'd want to score more goals. Neil would probably want him to score more goals. We all do. But it will come on to in a couple of other games. His pressing, his sheer determination to give us everything. And considering that there was a lot of talk, again, myself included, about him being shown the door in January, he sort of turned around and going, no, sod that. I want to play. I want to show that I'm up for this, and got his goal. And I was very, very pleased for him. And I'm sure you in the away end and the others that travelled were absolutely delighted that he got that goal.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And to turn it around like that, there was a long part of that game where you are going, oh, typical us. Why have we done it here? All the usual things that are running through your head. But yeah, a 2-minute spell of quality really turned the game on its head. And just to touch upon Maka again, you mentioned the S word there in striker. Is he just a number 10 that we've been missing, mate? Because that's what he seems to be doing now. And we talk about it, we debate about it. The Millwall number 10 is not a traditional central attacking midfielder, if you like. He's not a creative player in the system that we play. He is much more of a trigger press player. He's much more of a defensive player, a hard working player. And is he just perfect for that number 10 role, mate? Because I think we miss him when he's not playing there. Certainly in recent weeks. Again, I don't want to talk about pressing because we're coming on to it, but he was excellent at pressing. His pressing and defensive work allows us to get the ball back quickly. And is that his new role, mate? The number 10.
It's hard to argue with it, isn't it? It really is. That he's played very well in that position. A lot of it probably comes down to not necessarily. Let's be honest. He scored over 100 goals in 3 seasons. He wants to be scoring goals. He wants to be known for that. But he also knows that he's on the cusp. And I made a bit of I don't want to say a joke, but I made a little bit of an off the cusp comment and say that he's potentially having a potential Jamie Vardy moment where Vardy come from non-league and made it to the Premier League. Now, obviously, he had a very, very good career, scored a lot of goals. I don't know if Macaulay Langstaff has that in him, but he is still on the cusp of going from non-league football to the Premier League. There is a chance that could happen. And he's probably thinking, I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. And if that means I have to play in the 10 and chase and hurry and hassle and do a little bit of the dirty work, so be it. I'll do it because I he clearly wants it. And that is when you've got, I think the difference between him and Bradshaw and Gregory going back, years gone by, that we struggled to score goals with those players in the team because they didn't have the players like a Femi, or we weren't having the chances that we're creating at the moment. But Langstaff's work is probably more appreciated because we're scoring goals. And that's the difference. I think that's the main difference. And long may it continue. He deserves his plaudits. And I do agree that when he doesn't play in the 10 against certain opposition, we do struggle.
Yeah, I think certainly in the bigger games that we have got to come, the likes of Ipswich away, Borough away, I think he's going to be really important for us in that 10 role. But we'll talk about that another day. Then we roll into Pompey, mate. Obviously had beaten us 3-1 at Fratton Park. Terrible game. And then they beat us 3-1 at the Den as well. I think we were 5 or 6 unbeaten at home up until that point, and you're thinking we haven't played well. Really good result and performance against Wrexham. Poor performance against Sheffield Wednesday, but got the job done. Going back to a home game against a team that struggles away from home, I think you'd be lying if you didn't think 3 points were on the cards again, or at least a much better showing. But as I said, 3-1 defeat, mate. And a pretty poor day all round.
Absolutely. And I think, to be fair, I'm going to give credit to Mousinho. I think he outthought Alex Neil on the touchline, and his players in turn outthought us on the pitch. We were poor. We were bullied. They clearly had done their homework on us and just run us ragged. In all honesty, I mean, mistakes were made. Obviously, it's Anthony Patterson's first game, and we had a bit of a debate whether it was his fault or not the first. You look at Doherty, who'd been so good for 4 or 5 games, really poor Nothing seemed to work. Aziz and Crammer couldn't get it going down the right hand side. I think you said it with the Sheffield Wednesday game, that why does it have to be in this game that we were having a poor performance? And again, with some of the teams that we've got to play, and especially some big home games coming up as well, you're thinking team at the bottom of the league fighting for their lives. We should have been on the front foot, but wasn't meant to be. Scored a good goal. We said that Casper De Norre, lovely little finish. Obviously, didn't really lead to much, but it was an evening after the game where you're looking and you're thinking, oh, we've probably missed a golden opportunity to keep tabs with the top two.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, we all probably looked at him and went, oh, a favourable fixture. Let's say that. I don't think we go into any game certainly not expecting to win, but you think it's a favourable fixture for us at home against a side, as I said, who don't particularly travel well. Someone you want to just touch upon there that you mentioned, mate, it is Patterson. He came in obviously after Max's mistake at Sheffield Wednesday. It felt like it was a little bit of a waiting to happen, or as soon as Max had that mistake, he was going to come out. I know there was talk of Alex Neil saying that Patterson wasn't in because he wasn't match fit, and we do a lot of kicking in terms of our keepers and that sort of thing. But anyway, Patterson comes in first game. There was a lot of talk about it. I don't know, would it be fair to say it was 50-50 in terms of some fans were quite critical, some fans weren't? You said that you weren't on that side. I was probably on the side of being quite critical for the first one. But yeah, what was your general his thoughts on his performance, mate? He made a couple of other decent saves that probably stopped it being 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, and I thought he was all right. I think it was the worst game for all round for us to change our goalkeeper, because everyone had a bit of a shocker. So whereas we've been so good and so strong and reliable in defence over the last month or so. I know we conceded a few goals, but not many across the board. New goalkeeper comes in, we concede 3 at home, and it's a little bit panic stations a bit. Well, have we unsettled the team? What's the score here? What's going on? I think Patterson himself will probably be quite disappointed with the conceding of 3 goals. Like I say, the first one, I'm not. We've obviously had this on the live. Anyone who would like to listen to the debate, if you go back to that live show. But I think he would be disappointed with a couple, the 2 after that. He might feel that he should have got to. I wasn't going to be too critical, because I think we've clearly brought in a goalkeeper for the run-in. He's been there, he's done it, he's achieved what we're looking to achieve. Max, and we do this, Max Crocombe, Millwall fans, we're loyal. The loyalty is everything, isn't it? We players gone in the past that have left the club that to automatically turn into Judas when they go, whereas when they were with us, we loved them. And I think Crocombe, whilst he might not fall into that category, we still had a sense of loyalty towards him. He'd been the goalkeeper for 20 games, come from nowhere. We'd signed a keeper from Fulham who we'd obviously kept out of the side. Jensen hadn't come back. But I think if you were being honest, and I think those that did have a little bit of a moan, you've got an £8 million goalkeeper on your bench. He was always going to come in. And unfortunately, Crocombe did make the mistake that allowed that to happen.
It was probably really bad timing for Max, wasn't it? Because, as I said, I know Alex Neil had mentioned about Patterson just not being match fitness, but almost obviously he played the Wrexham game, Max, had a good game. And then the game after that, second game after the January window shutting, he makes the mistake, and that's probably him done now, isn't it? Well, it is almost certainly going to be him done now.
Yeah, I would have thought so, unless something drastic happens. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Max was called upon at any time, okay, you might be a little bit jittery because coming in and out of the side, but he's shown enough to say that he's he'd be up for the fight if needed. But I think Anthony Patterson plays now from now until the end of the season, and should we be in the playoffs and however many games that may be, we'll keep the shirt.
Well, mate, we'll roll into the next game. We'll look at Birmingham now, and this is probably more of a slight on me than it is. Well, it definitely is more than the sides. I think just naturally after that such poor performance, I am the most stereotypical. Don't get too high when we win, don't get too high when we lose. But when we do, I either think we're going to win the Champions League in 2 years, or we're going to be playing Nuneaton Borough in 3. And after that defeat to Pompey, mate, I went into work and I've got a Blues fan in there, and I said to him, I think it'll be 4 or 5, mate. They were it was 9 unbeaten at the time, absolutely flying. He's telling me they've got an £8 million winger they've just signed from La Liga who's tearing it up and all this sort of thing. He's telling me how good they are. So I just went into it and said that I just can't see us getting a victory. And in the most Millwall-like fashion, we put in an absolutely top-class performance and tear a very, very good Birmingham City side apart, beat them 3-0. And let's be honest, it could have been 8, to be perfectly honest with you, mate. Yeah, as I say, in the most stereotypical fashion, we bounced back straight away. But yeah, an absolutely top-class performance.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think we made 4 changes, didn't we, to the team that lost against Portsmouth? And your natural instincts go, got to come in, Leonard and Sturge, and Taylor was injured and etc. But to a man, they were absolutely brilliant. We keep talking about him, and we've got to. Femi, absolute wonder goal again. It's just ridiculous how good he's become. Tristan Crammer, 2 assists and a goal for a defender. Playing at centre back, who's been playing at right back and moving, and it's just everything about the performance was absolutely brilliant. Slightly disappointed that we didn't maybe try and go for a 4th or a 5th in the second half. I almost felt like we sort of
we did. I mean, Negley had that opportunity, which he decided he wanted to smash instead of to stroke when he was through on goal. So we definitely had the chances, mate. I definitely think we had the chances in the second half. But I get your point. We did ease off a bit.
Yeah, there was chances, but I feel like it was Birmingham had almost accepted 3-0. We were happy to gratefully take the 3-0. Clean sheet at home, 3 goals, happy days. But it was a very, very good performance. And as I said earlier, some of the football, knocking it around, the confidence was flowing. Good players, like Negley. I think sometimes people talk about how much he runs and the graft and the effort, which he does. But if you watch him, when he's playing in a team that's winning and he's confident, the flicks come out, the movement's good. His head's up rather than looking at the ball. It was a phenomenal performance. It's one that I didn't think was coming, and I think it again showed the should we say the Jake Cooper doubters, another game that just how good Coops was. We will come on to Coops a bit later. I think that might give away what's coming, but he's proper Millwall, and you can't say anything else about him. He's just absolutely superb. All the chaos with 3 different players around him, with a goalkeeper, 2 different fullbacks, Crammer, coming in, and he just rocks up. He's captain and goes, right, I'll sort it out, lads. Don't worry. And considering he was up against, I think Birmingham themselves tweeted, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago that
the 2
Clara, is it?
Whatever it was.
Clara, the best. Show me I'm waiting to see a better centre back or something, and
I can show you 3.
Yeah, well, I absolutely. You could certainly see 2 of them on show in the game because they were brilliant. To a man, absolutely superb. Best performance of the month by far, I think.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. And look, just to go through the sides, Patterson made a very, very important save at 0-0. That breakaway, the 2-on-1. Coops did great defensively in that move, but a very, very good save from Patterson. Zach Sturge come back in, I thought was excellent. Thought he did really well. Shout out to Lenny. Hadn't played, hadn't been in the side. As I said, my blue nose mate is raving about this winger, saying how good he is. He did not have a sniff. Lenny just battered him, marked him out of the game, defended him out of the game, won every header, won every tackle, didn't give him an inch of space. He was superb. Don't need to talk about Coops. We don't need to talk about Kramer. I thought Billy and Casper, again, were quality in the middle of midfield, completely ran it. And we probably need to talk about the red cards. And sometimes when a side gets a red card, it's like out of petulance or whatever. We forced that red card. because of how good we were in midfield. And I can't remember who it was who got sent off, but he had to, certainly the second tackle, he had to make the tackle because I think it was Casper that was sort of bursting through their midfield. So yeah, we absolutely overran him in midfield. And I wanted to give this man a shout out because you talk about that Clara at centre back. Josh Coburn manhandled Clara and Panzo that night. Absolutely battered them. And again, someone I want to talk about a bit later when we talk about performances of the month. But yeah, I thought he was excellent. Obviously, didn't get his goal, but just led the line in a Millwall way that we really, really, really miss. And I'm not knocking Mihailo here at all, but the difference of when it is Josh Coburn up top to Mihailo, whatever he's done since he's come back from injury, Jonesy, he has improved and improved us as a side fivefold. Because as I say, he leads that line so well.
It's almost as if, and again, not knocking Ivanovic, but sometimes Ivanovic doesn't quite know how to.
He doesn't
play the way.
No, he doesn't.
No, we don't quite get it from him because he's not 100% sure. It's not 100% his game. Josh Coburn gets put out as a lone striker, and he knows that he's going to be in for a bit of a tough afternoon. He's in for a battle, but he's right up for it, and he's happy to go 50-50. You know, he'll have his 1 minute, you know, he's arm round the defender, he's having arm around his neck or whatever, but as much as you want to get the fouls sometimes, and the refs don't always give us protection, in a way he always has a little bit of a smile on his face because he's like, all right,
he seems like he enjoys it. You said it then, I thought he actually does. He enjoys that physical battle.
Yeah, I mean, look, someone said to me the other day, I was talking about Josh Coburn, if he scored goals he wouldn't be with us.
No, I was just about to say that. Yeah, if he adds goals to his games, mate, yeah, he's the perfect striker almost.
Absolutely, he's big. He's not rapid, but he's not slow. He's got a little bit of a little bit of movement there. Certainly, the initial burst is usually pretty good. But yeah, he's just very, very good. You can clearly see that Neil has a plan when Coburn's in the side to utilise him and get the best out of him. He gets us up the pitch. He wins us free kicks. We'll come on to Preston, but he wins us corners. You know, he's very, very good. And you know, we always wonder, is there an injury around the corner? That's probably the only real still big question mark with him. But all the while that they can keep putting him out and getting you 60, 70, 80 minutes out of him, we've got a great chance, because there's not many defenders in the league that are going to enjoy that battle for the majority of the game against him.
I was going to talk about this a bit later, but I think it segues in nicely now. I think he is our most important player for this running. If he stays fit and plays, say he plays 70 minutes of every game for our running, I don't want to say, I think it's going to be hard to get in the top two. I think we all know that. But in terms of what's left, the games we've got left, the quality of opposition that we're playing, and then the playoffs, I think he's our most important player, mate. Genuinely. Because as we said, I don't think Mihailo can play that lone striker role anywhere near as well as Josh Coburn can. And I think we are a completely different side when Josh Coburn is the leader of the line.
I think just to avoid you getting pelters after that, because I think a lot of people are going to turn around and go, Femi Aziz, are you mad?
Okay, yeah.
But to your point, and to agree with you, and perhaps for anyone that's listening to this, and get your comments in, this is a good sort of talking point. My take from what you're saying there is, because the way that we play is we are built to have that physical striker in the team. When you take that away from us, we almost have to go.
We have to change the way we play completely.
Yeah. What are we going to do? Do we go two up front? Do we put someone in a 10 that gets closer to Mia? Whereas with Coburn, it's like, right, we have got a battering ram for 70 minutes. We're going to use it. And I think that's where, if I'm understanding what you're saying, is that's what you mean. It's not so much the fact that he's going to score the goals or get the assist, but he dictates how we play.
Everything dictates the aggression, gets up the pitch easier. He holds the ball up. He brings others into play. Of course, Femi is our main man. We know that, and he's the most active in terms of goal contributions. But this is going to sound stupid, and I don't want it to mean it in this way. But if Femi was out for 2 or 3 games, we do have replacements. Nowhere near as good, but we do have replacements. I think there's a telling difference when Josh Coburn plays to when Mihajlo plays. That's what I'm getting at. And again, listen, I'm not saying we can be without Femi. We can't be, but I think there's a huge difference when Coburn plays to Mihajlo.
Yeah, I think Femi falls into the bracket of a match winner. He's going to get you the goal that you need. Whereas I think in terms of the performance levels and leading from the front, Coburn certainly gives us that rather than perhaps what Ivanovic does. Don't get me wrong, and I've often said this: you're in a playoff semi-final and you need a goal and the ball comes across. Who do I want, Ivanovic or Coburn on the end of it? I'm telling you, I want Ivanovic.
That's an interesting one, that isn't it? Yeah, because I'd probably say the same, but
you want Coburn
for everything else. Yeah. I probably agree with you there, mate, as well. Maybe we just need to get Ivanovic's shooting boots on Coburn, and then we'd have the perfect striker. Right, let's move into Preston, mate. And like I said before, up here when we win, down here when we lose. I then rolled into Preston, and if I rolled my memory back to when we played them early on in the season, I kept saying to my dad how bad they were, and I'd seen them a couple of times on telly how much were bad. I couldn't believe the league position that they were in. I thought we were going to go there and it was going to be a tough game because obviously they are still chasing the playoffs. But there was no doubt in my mind that we'd beat them. Honestly, there was no doubt in my mind that I thought Alex Neil would have us bang up for it. He doesn't want to go back to his old club and lose. And again, after that performance, it was again, I just said, if we put anywhere near that performance that we just did against Birmingham into this game, they won't be able to live with us. And that was the case. We were again, 2-0 completely flattered them.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I said earlier that Birmingham was the performance of the month, and when I said it, I thought, actually, Preston, we were so good. I started the live with this the other day. The only moan that I've had over the last 2 games as a Millwall fan is that we've only scored 5 goals. And you say that it is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous comment to make. And you look at it, and you go, "What are you talking about? You've won both games." At first start, you obviously were there. I was watching at home, but the first half against Preston, it could have been 5.
Yeah, and that was again. We're Millwall fans. That was my only thing. I was going, they're going to have one chance and they're going to score. But I don't know. That's probably old us talking more than anything else. But mate, we should have been out of sight at half time. Again, if there's only that one criticism, Coburn was excellent. Again, completely bullied Preston. The only criticism, he didn't stick that chance away in the first half where he probably should have. We talked about it earlier. Negley shot come cross would have been one of the goals of the season in a footballing sense. It was an unbelievable move from us. Unbelievable. Negley has the dipping volley from the edge of the box. We were so good. They really didn't have anything to shout about. The only half chance I can remember from them was they put a ball in the box in the second half, which Patterson went down at the feet of the centre forward, but that wasn't even really a chance. Like, I don't remember anything else that they had.
No, it was almost like you say, you were waiting for them to sort of come good as the home team chasing a playoff spot, but it never happened. We just nullified everything that they did. Shout out, you mentioned him in I think the Birmingham game, Ryan Leonard. Absolutely love to see Ryan Leonard on the score sheet. Don't think I want to see Ryan Leonard.
By the way,
do the gritty though? I don't want to see him do the gritty again.
There was a lot of that going on, mate. Casper did it, didn't he? In the after full time, there was a lot going on.
But great finish. Good, he's always had that in his locker, isn't he? He's always been able to pop up with a goal, Leonard. But he, a player that again gets the club. I thought he was excellent throughout the game. Also gives us a little bit more with the long throw. And you don't want to be sort of typecast with that, but it does give you something a little bit extra when Leonard plays. It's like a bullet that goes into the box. So that little, adds a little bit to the team as well. Josh Coburn, excellent. Femi, they had 2 left backs that genuinely, if you go back and watch the clip of our second goal, their left back just turns around. He just looks like
had no idea what was going on, did he?
He just looked like he's just like, can you just blow the whistle, ref? Like, I've had enough. I don't want to play against this guy anymore. It was just, again, really pleased as well for Luke Cundle, sort of a bit of not a forgotten man, but doesn't get to play the games that he probably wants to. The move probably, in his words, if you were to ask, it probably hasn't been as fruitful as he would have liked. He's still obviously a part of a successful squad at the moment, but it took a little bit longer than we'd have liked for the second goal, but we definitely deserved it.
Where is Luke Cundle's best position, mate?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's his problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've got no idea.
You look at it and you go, if you take the team that sort of started the game, and you say, right, which one of those are you going to replace Luke Cundle with? You go, well, you can't take Negley out, wide left. Admittedly, I wouldn't necessarily always have Negley on the left, but you can't take him out because of how good he's been. Langstaff is one of the reasons why we get ourselves up the pitch and help bully teams and get on the front foot. Feziz is the best player in the world, so he's not going to come out. So then your options are incredibly limited. We've got our best centre midfield pairing in Denor and Mitchell. You just can't get in. And you say, realistically, where does the run into the box is very good. He scored a good goal at Sheffield United earlier on into the season with a late little run into the box. Maybe it is in a 10 position, like late on, making those late runs. But
I was just about to say he's got to almost. This is going to sound mad to a lot of people. He's got to model himself on Macaulay Langstaff and be that. No, the BS. He's got to be that defensive 10 for us, isn't he? He is now got to be, when he comes on, he runs his absolute nuts off for us in that 10. And we use him as a pressing player because, I mean, we saw him at Leeds in the FA Cup and he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable that day. And we just haven't seen too much from him since. I know he's been injured, I know he's been out in and outside, but yeah, like you say, I think he's a bit of a forgotten man. So I was happy for him to get on the score sheet. Just going back to the squad and the Preston game. I mean, I'm just looking here, mate. The substitutions that we are now making. So Alfie Doughty's coming on at 75 minutes, who was player of the month in most people's eyes last month. Danny Mack comes on at right back. Mihailo comes on for Josh Coburn. Luke Cundle comes on for Billy Mitchell. And Del Boy comes on for Casper. Like, not so long ago, mate, we are talking about all of those players without question starting for us. Like, no questions asked. And now they're coming on as bit part players with 5 minutes to go. By no means am I saying they are bit part players in the squad, but you get my point here. The quality of substitutions we are now being able to affect games with and change games with is unbelievable in my opinion. And we're not even we're forgetting about people like, or not, we speak about them all the time. RBW now struggling to even get a place in match day squads, and like it's the level of depth, mate, is quite staggering.
Absolutely. I mean, you didn't even mention there Barry Bannon and Tommy Watson.
I was waiting for another set. I was going to wait for you to talk about them, and then I was going to say what happened. But anyway, let's talk about those guys, and we'll come on to Barry in a sec.
But that's the point. It's we've got players that can play in a number of positions. Like, for example, Leonard. Maybe Neil, knew he hadn't played an awful lot of football, wanted to get ahead, make the change. You've got Danny Mack, another right back on the bench. Capable. Okay, he's not maybe in the same quality as you Crammer and Leonard, but very much capable. Doughty, we're changing positions to solidify to try and win the game. If it was 0-0, your Tommy Watson's come on. Maybe Bannon does come on and change the dynamics slightly. So you pick your players for what's going on in the game.
It was
and we've got
100% Jonesy, horses for courses, because at 2-0, everyone's going, bring Barry Bannon on, we'll shore the game up. The pitch was like a park pitch, and bringing Delbo, I know it was only a couple of minutes ago, it was the right thing to do because he is just he's been pretty harsh on him, but just a bruiser compared to Barry Bannon. Work hard, make your tackles. Like that again, that is the amazing position that we find ourselves in, that we can now almost bring subs on based on who we're playing, where we're playing, how we're playing.
Absolutely. I mean, you take Bannon and Derek as an example. If you're getting overrun in midfield and maybe a couple of physical central midfielders, you just turn around and go, all right, on you go. And he's going to come on and he's going to match them up
He's going to
physically.
compete. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're playing against a team that might perhaps go into a low block, you turn around and go, right, it's not quite for you, Derek. Barry,
comes
on you go. Like you're right. The squad we've put together, the injuries, that we've had and now coming back. Will Smallbone, another one that potentially coming back in, another first team squad player that's now hopefully available for the run in. It's on paper the squad is so good at this level. It really, really is, and we haven't spent bundles of money on it. Yeah, okay. People will say we've, Negley, Ivanovic,
mate,
Coburn.
not in championship terms, mate. Like,
But yeah, that's it. That's it. Not in championship terms. That's exactly it.
Yeah, well, we keep saying it. It's a very, very good time to be a Millwall fan, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely.
When you can bring on certain players for certain games and certain situations, you're in a good spot. A very, very good month, mate. A very, very good month. Let's talk about the predictions. I mean, we'll touch upon it. There's no point dwelling on it, really, is there, mate? You got the predictions absolutely spot on again, mate. You said 12 points. We got 12 points.
2 months in a row, I've got it bang on.
All right, don't brag about it.
2 months in a row. I'm pulling off a late season charge, so it's now 3-3 on our prediction game for the two of us. But it's quite nice. Not necessarily in the sense of predicting the points and getting it, but looking at it and being positive with your predictions and going, we're going to go to these places and win, or we're going to win games, rather than thinking, we might get a point here, or we might be able to sneak a win. We're I think you said it earlier. It's not expecting to win every game, but you're confident that we can win games rather than hope.
Yeah.
So
and it was a long time of that, mate, where you were hanging on, like you go to place and go, if we win 1-0 today, we've done well. Now we're going there, like say Saturday, prime example. I was going to Preston, going, if we play to the level as we did Wednesday night, they can't live with us. But that's how I'm thinking.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's. You keep saying it. Great time to be a Millwall fan. Looking forward to games. I think we've always sort of looked forward to games. I know sometimes when you're at the bottom of the league, it's a bit harder to get yourself up for it. But right now, you just want the next fixture and the next one and the next one. It's just you're just hoping that it comes around quick enough. Like you go to work and you're thinking, right, a couple of days and it's another game and another game. That's just kind of how it feels.
It does, mate. It does. And roll on tomorrow at Hull, because I am
Absolutely.
very confident again. I am very, very confident. Anyway, spoke about predictions for last month. Let's do our usual player of the month, goal of the month. Started player of the month, mate. Who was your player of the month for February, Jonesy?
I touched on it briefly earlier. The player of the month for me for February is Jake Cooper. I think Coops is now, we've said it so many times, he's underrated, but there's a lot of people now that are seriously being won round with his performances and the modern day legend tag. People are starting to realize just how good he is. He's top, I think, for first contacts, headed contacts, popping up with goals, third highest scoring defender in championship history. There's a stat for you there, Ben.
Didn't know that, mate. That is a good one.
Yeah, he's third in the list now. I think he's 4 behind the leader.
Who is?
It's the name's gone out of my head, and I knew you were going to ask me that, and it's that's really annoyed me because it's gone now. But just phenomenal. He's had a lot of change around him, and people talk about the consistency. The left back's changed, the keeper's changed, Crammer's moved in, Leonard's played, Taylor's dropped out. Coops has just rolled his sleeves up, got on with a job, handled big games. Wrexham, Birmingham, Preston, all teams that are going for top 6 positions. He's handled their forwards as well as he could, and I've said it so many times.
Just on that, mate. If we had gone into February and I had said to you we would have conceded 0 goals against Wrexham, Birmingham, and Preston, what would you have said? No chance.
No chance. No way. Not with Birmingham and Wrexham, the way that the form that they were in going into those respective games.
And I think, as you say, just it's a testament to Coops is the mainstay of all of that. Kramer comes into right back, comes in centre back. Taylor comes in because he's injured. Coops is the mainstay, mate. So yeah, totally agree with
Absolutely
him getting the credit that he deserves.
Absolutely, and I don't want to get too excited, and I don't want to get my hopes up, but I can just picture.
I know what you're going to say then as well.
I can picture that man, Jake Cooper, with his captain's armband on, being given the trophy as he at Wembley on the balcony.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just guys, don't clip this, please. Don't clip this. But that's my dream. That is my dream. That obviously, of course, the dream is to get promoted. It's an obvious thing to say, but I would love Coops to have that opportunity as captain to do that. It'd be absolutely well deserved for his career with us. And I think next year he goes into a testimonial year. So regardless of what happens, he thoroughly deserves it.
Got to be against Reading, isn't it? The worst transfer in their history.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be quite good. I mean, I'd like to think we could maybe get someone a bit better for him, but maybe we get Everton down after his after his handball against
trying to cause riots, Jonesy.
No, we go to their ground. We go to their grounds.
Yeah. Even better.
But no, wait. Jake Cooper, player of the month for me for February. Superb nice. For me.
And I have changed 3 times since we spoke in the pre-recording stage. I was originally going with Billy. I thought Billy's been excellent in this month. I don't have to talk about my admiration for Billy and the stick that he gets, the undeserving stick, in my opinion. I think he's just been top draw. Battered Birmingham, battered Preston. Worked very, very hard in a game against Sheffield Wednesday when no one really played well. So yeah, I was going to say Billy, but I'm actually not, and it's going to be the man that I spoke about as being our most important man in the running, and that is Josh Coburn. I kind of already spoken about how I view him in terms of his importance to the sides. I think this month, since he's come back from injury, he's clearly beefed up. He's got stronger. He leads the line so well. I'm going to give it to him. And people are going to say, well, he hasn't scored, but I genuinely, we are a different side when he plays, mate. So I'm going to give it to him. So it's a very, very hard job what he does playing up there on his own. I think he's been excellent.
Yeah, I think you look for players that make a difference and you notice them when they're not playing. Billy also falls into that category. And interestingly, on Mitchell, just before we go back to Coburn, we haven't really spoke about him once. We've said that, collectively with Casper, he's played well in the month, but that's how you know he's a good player, because we haven't had to sing his praise yet. We're talking about how good he's been in terms of a monthly performance. But yeah, Coburn, it's hard to disagree. As I say, obviously, the people will say that he, one goal obviously against Wrexham, which was a good finish, but it's some of the work that he does off the ball and in build up to goal that sometimes gets missed. So yeah. And
I mean, we're sat here and Femi's arguably he's got two assists from own goals, which I know aren't assists, but they basically, one assist from an own goal, an assist for Langstaff's goal, probably arguably one of the goals of the season. He's going to be a contender for us, definitely. An assist on Saturday against Preston. So we're talking 4 or 5 goal contributions, and he hasn't won Player of the Month. But the thing is, it's just an expectation now with Femi. That's what he's going to do. Him doing those things, I'm not even impressed anymore, Femi. So just keep doing them, mate.
I'm gonna do this now, and we will clip this section for a specific reason. As of right now, if you were to vote, and listeners at home as well, Tristan Kramer, Femi Aziz, who wins Player of the Season?
Femi for me all day.
I agree. I think it's got to be Femi. But I understand why people would vote for Kramer. Of course, he's been superb. But you cannot get away from the contribution that Femi's made to this team and getting us to where we are. So,
and I'm always more than willing to say, mate, I did say it was the worst £1 million that Millwall have ever spent. And just how wrong I was. So
I think you've got a couple of saved tweets of mine somewhere that I was questioning whether he was even a professional footballer. So Femi, we're so sorry. We know nothing. We're not qualified to do this. But
no, we're not. No. I don't know who lets us do it. We shouldn't be allowed. But yeah, I mean,
continue.
It's mad that we're talking about Player of the Month, mate, when Femi's just rolling off the numbers that he's continually doing and he's not even been spoken about. But genuinely, The man's a joke. You touched upon it, mate. It is very much a enjoy him while it lasts, because I win, lose or draw, I can't see him being here next year.
Well,
He'd probably be going to Spurs for about 60 million quid. The way they're going.
Let's see. I think if we were to get promoted, I think there would be a hint of wanting to see
do you reckon,
where the journey
do you still not think? I don't know, I'm trying to think of a club now. I mean, could he not play for a Fulham, a Bournemouth,
Bournemouth's the one for me.
A Brighton, mate, someone like that? Do you not think he could play for them?
He could. I think he could, but I think there's a hint of, and I think a lot of our players, I think there would be a hint of to start with. Just what can we do? How could we be a team that upsets in the top division if we were to get there? And you get to January, and if you're struggling or it's not quite working out, you then might look at players that might be looking to leave or bids come in. But I think why would, and I know we say this from a Millwall fan's perspective, and we have to accept this, but like, why would he's loved? Why would you, unless something ridiculous happens and a ridiculous club comes in, then that's a little bit different. But certainly, whatever happens, I think Feziz will be a Premier League football come August 10th or whatever it is, whenever the season starts. So it's either enjoy him while he can, or he's going to produce something special to get us there.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Goal of the month. I will start with this one, mate, because again, I have changed my mind. Listen, I think it is unanimous that it is Femi, right? And I know you're going to say Femi. So I'm not going to say Femi, just to say something different and talk about a different goal. I was going to say Josh Coburn at Wrexham, and I've actually changed my mind since we've been sat here thinking about it again. And I'm actually going to say Lenny from Saturday. I thought, what an unbelievable bit of skill that is, just to stroke that in the bottom corner. A great little layoff from Casper, but Lenny knows exactly what he's doing there. And it would have been quite easy for him to lash that over the bar, Jonesy. What a clever goal. The scenes when it went in as well, it was just, maybe because I was there, might be a little bit biased towards it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Lenny's. By the way, before anyone comes at me in the comments, it is, of course, Femi Aziz's goal against Birmingham. But I'll say Lenny's. Jonesy?
Yeah, look, I think nostalgia comes into it with who it is, Leonard. Everyone loves Ryan Leonard now, don't they? He's completely won the fans around from when he first joined the club, and he's again a player that's probably not had the season he would have liked. He would have loved to have played more football, but obviously Tristan has actually nailed that position down for the majority of the season. Lovely finish. People probably think, why was he there in the first place? Bobbling around the edge of the box, but great finish. The strikers would have been pleased with it. Little sort of finesse into the bottom corner in front of the away end as well. It was a very, very good goal. And just whilst this isn't about Leonard, it's the importance of keeping the ball alive. Coops and Casper did really, really well. Yeah. And Lenny obviously with a great finish. Like I said earlier, can't be having Millwall players gritty in, but it was a very, very nice finish, and someone again you're really pleased to see get on the score sheet.
What have we become? We've got Barry Bannon with 67 for 6-7. We got Lenny doing the gritty, Casper doing it at full time. Not the Millwall I know and all that.
No, absolutely. But listen, if we get to the Premier League, we better start practicing these kind of things, because we'll have to fit in.
I'll be fucking gritty, and if we get Jesus. Anyway, right, done player of the month, done goal of the month. Now we'll look towards March. So we are going to Hull tomorrow, mate. Then we have got Derby at home, Blackburn at home, Ipswich away. So a pretty tough month for the Lions, and it's prediction time. What are we going with? Is it me to go first?
No, it's me, and I don't like it.
Are you sure? Anyway, I'll let you go first. I don't mind.
Well, no, because usually you're hosting, it comes, doesn't it? And then next month
I'll go with that.
So, if you want to go first, by all means, because
you go first. You go first.
This is tricky. So I'm gonna go. I hate to say it, but I don't know if we're going to go and have an unbeaten month. I'd like to. We're capable of an unbeaten month, especially with the way that we're playing. But I think that's going to be a little bit of an ask. I'm going to go with, and this might be a little bit conservative, but I'm going to go with a 7-point month. The breakdown of that, I'm not 100% sure on, because much like you said earlier, I'm quietly confident of going to Hull and playing well. I think the Ipswich result midweek for them might be a little bit damaging, not so much necessarily just because they've lost the game, but they've also picked up a few injuries
And a
going into
suspension.
another and a suspension, so that might rock them a little bit. I don't want to say this, and people are going to be watching this in the build up to the whole game. Obviously, we'll get it out, and people will be watching it perhaps on the Friday or the Saturday morning. But by all accounts, they don't have an actual left back. Feziz plays wide right. You do the maths. You know that. You do the maths. You do the maths. It could be a Femi special, but we know football doesn't always work like that. So 7 points. I don't think we'll have an unbeaten month, unfortunately. I'd love us to, but I think that the Ipswich fixture on the 21st of March, whilst I think it'd be a very, very good game and a good game to be on Sky, I think that they are going to be absolutely steamrolling towards Middlesbrough, and I think that could be a bit of a struggle. I hope not, of course. And if we do go there and get a result, then the dream perhaps of the top two could still be on going into April. But I think that's going to be a bit of a tough ask, personally.
I'm going to go 8 then, mate. I'm just going to go one above you. I think we go unbeaten in our next 3, and I can see us winning our next 3 games. Again, there may be a little bit of, can we keep, I'm going to say, if we keep the performance levels up from Preston, from Birmingham, I don't see how Hull live with us. I don't see how Derby at home live with us. And I don't see how Blackburn live with us.
Don't say it. Not Blackburn.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the worst performances at their place I've ever seen from us, by the way. And we won't even talk about what's gone before that. But, I honestly, mate, I think if we put in the performances that we have, that's the tough thing for us now. What I will say is I 100% agree with tomorrow. Hull have had a midweek game against Ipswich. They've picked up loads of injuries. A couple of got a suspension as well. So I fancy us tomorrow strongly. I think we beat Derby, and Blackburn is Blackburn. And then I think, obviously, the next 2 are tough games. So I'll say 8, but I think we will do very well in our next 3 games. I could see us then being on a 5-game winning run, which is mental to say. I could see us winning our next 3 games.
I think we're capable. It's not that I don't think that we're capable, but I think if you to put
I'm probably talking about that on paper, mate. And now I know what you're going to say again. It's not a computer game, obviously, right? But
no, but that's not. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're certainly capable, but it's the time of the season where, funny results start to happen. Teams are literally like clawing their way to that top 6 or out from the relegation zone or whatever. And I think that sometimes influences what happens. We are capable, and this is famous last words. I've already given my prediction, but we are capable of picking up a result in every game we play this in March. There's no 2 ways about it. But doing it at this stage of the season is obviously the hard part. So, like I said, if we got 7 points, okay, you'd always like a little bit more. I think going into April, we would be in a very, very strong position to at least be fighting for that position to get a home leg second in the playoffs. So if it is 7 points, of course, we'd always like more, guys, and let us know what you think. But if it is 7, I would still be relatively happy with that.
We'll go with that then, mate. I think we'll get more, but we'll go with that. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Listen, if we get more, then you'll come on the March review gritty in to the viewers.
I might do. If Lenny scores another one, I might. If he scores a screamer, like he did, was it in COVID? He scored the screamer
against Hull. Yeah, an absolute rocket. Yeah, it was.
It was COVID, wasn't it? If he does that tomorrow, I'll be grittying. Anyway, Jonesy and I are going tomorrow. So if you are listening to this on Friday night whilst we're recording, then we'll see you tomorrow. If you're listening to it on the way up there, we'll see you tomorrow. Give us a shout if you see us. Jonesy, that was very, very enjoyable.
It's like you said, mate, it's a pleasure to do these, obviously, with esteemed company. It's always great to talk more with you, mate. I think the listeners know, obviously, we get on very well away from away from the podcast. So doing these are really good fun. Brilliant time to be a Millwall fan, and I think that's all there is to it. I think it comes across in everything that we do on this channel that it's just brilliant to be involved with the club.
It is, mate. It is. And the most important part of this show is this week I've improved my math skills, mate. So if you remember back on last month, we asked for a like target and it was a quarter of 960 and I said 150 because, I'm just stupid. And we got, I think when I looked earlier, it was over 200. So, Jonesy, I'm asking you now, give the listeners a like target for us, please.
Let's go for 240.
Okay, 240.
We'll go 240.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why. I'll tell you why. I'm going off on a tangent now. 24, lucky number and all that. Add a 0 on the end, so 240. There we go.
Right, okay. You thought about that one, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Right, 240 likes, people. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been, it is very, very enjoyable looking back at these months at the moment. I'm sure we're all in the same boat. It's a great time to be a Millwall fan, as we've said 100 times on this episode. I think we'll leave it at that, Jonesy.
Absolutely. See you on the next one.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.